The year is 60 AD. Britannia, a land of mist-covered hills, sacred groves, and warrior tribes, lies under the heavy hand of Roman occupation. To the empire, it was another conquered province, a frontier to be pacified and taxed. But to the Iceni, Trinovantes, and countless Celtic peoples, it was their ancestral homeland, rich with spirit and tradition. And in this turbulent moment, a Queen Boudica rose from tragedy to defy the most powerful empire the world had ever known. When the Romans first arrived in Britannia, under Emperor Claudius in 43 AD, they brought legions, engineers, and administrators. They also brought promises alliances with local kings who would be allowed to rule as client monarchs under Roman oversight. Among these rulers was Prasutagus, king of the Iceni in eastern Britain. For years he struck a delicate balance, paying tribute to Rome while keeping his people's independence intact. But when Prasutagus died in 60 AD, he willed his kingdom jointly to his daughters and the emperor himself, hoping to secure peace. The Romans, however, saw only an opportunity for annexation. The betrayal was swift and brutal. Roman officials seized Iceni lands, confiscated wealth, and humiliated its royal family. Boudica, Prasutagus' widow, was flogged in public, and her daughters were violated by Roman soldiers, calculated act of domination. The tribal nobles were dispossessed, their sacred traditions mocked, their pride shattered. Tacitus, the Roman historian, later wrote, "They plundered the whole kingdom as if it were a conquest, treating the household of the king himself as if they had been slaves." The humiliation lit a fire that would ignite half of Britain. Boudica, tall, fierce, with a mane of red hair that cascaded down to her waist, became the rallying figure for rebellion. She stood before her people, scarred by Rome's cruelty, and invoked not only vengeance but freedom. "We British are used to women commanders in war," wrote Cassius Dio, echoing the astonishment of the Roman world. To her followers, she was more than a queen. She was the embodiment of their god's fury against foreign oppressors. The tribes rose. The Iceni was soon joined by the Trinovantes, who still bore resentment over the Roman colony of Camulodunum modern Colchester built atop their sacred lands. Roman veterans settled there had treated the Britons with arrogance, erecting a massive temple to the deified Claudius and forcing locals to pay for its upkeep. To the Britons, it was less a shrine than a symbol of conquest. Now it became the first target of the revolt. In the spring of 68, while the Roman governor Suetonius Paulinus was campaigning far away in Wales against the Druids on the island of Mona Anglesey, Boudica led her warriors south. They descended upon Camulodunum with fire and fury. The Roman settlers, complacent behind flimsy defenses, were caught off guard. Tacitus recounts how the defenders barricaded themselves inside the temple of Claudius, besieged for 2 desperate days before being slaughtered. The town was burned to the ground, its ashes rising into the sky as a signal of rebellion. The news spread like wildfire. From every corner of Britain, tribes answered Boudica's call. The Roman 9th Legion, marching to relieve Camulodunum, was ambushed. Its infantry was annihilated. Only the cavalry escaped. Fear gripped the province. To the rebels, it was proof that Rome could bleed. To the Romans, it was a disaster that threatened their entire hold on Britannia. Next fell Londinium, the fledgling trading settlement that would one day grow into London. Suetonius, rushing back from Wales, reached the city first, but with too few troops to defend it, he abandoned Londinium to its fate. The inhabitants who stayed behind were massacred. Tacitus records that men, women, and even children were slaughtered with ruthless efficiency. Those captured alive were subjected to gruesome rites of vengeance, hung, impaled, or sacrificed in sacred groves. Verulamium, modern St. Albans, soon suffered the same fate. The rebels' scorched earth campaign left charred ruins across southeastern Britain by the summer. Boudicca's forces numbered in the tens of thousands, perhaps over 100,000, a vast host of tribal warriors, families, and camp followers, united in defiance. The Roman accounts describe her riding in a war chariot, her daughters beside her. Addressing the tribes, it is not as a woman descended from noble ancestry, but as one of the people that I am avenging lost freedom, my scourged body, the outraged chastity of my daughters. This is a woman's resolve. As for the men, they may live and be slaves. The words burned into memory, rallying warriors to fight for liberty or death. But Rome would not yield so easily. Suetonius Paulinus, a hardened general, regrouped. He gathered what remained of the Roman legions, perhaps 10,000, disciplined soldiers, and prepared to face Boudicca's vast host. The decisive confrontation came somewhere along the Roman road, now known as Watling Street, though the exact location remains uncertain. Suetonius chose the ground carefully, a narrow gorge with woods at his back, forcing the Britons to attack head-on, their numbers blunted by terrain. The battle was apocalyptic. The Britons surged forward in a vast wave, their war cries echoing across the fields. Chariots scythed through the front lines, but the Romans held firm, their discipline and armor proving decisive. At Suetonius' command, the legions advanced in a wedge, their pillar spears cutting down the charging warriors. Then came the deadly advance of Roman short swords, precise, relentless, unstoppable. The Britons, trapped by their own wagons and families massed at the rear, could not retreat. The slaughter was immense. Tacitus claimed 80,000 Britons were killed, against only 400 Romans, a figure likely exaggerated, but nonetheless a testament to the scale of the defeat. Boudicca herself did not fall in battle. Ancient sources differ. Tacitus says she took poison to avoid capture. Cassius Dio suggests she fell ill and died. Either way, the rebellion ended with her death, and Britannia was once more under Rome's iron grip. Yet Rome, though victorious, was shaken. Nero himself considered abandoning the province entirely. So great was the devastation. The aftermath left scars on both sides. Entire towns had been reduced to ash, thousands slain. For the tribes, the dream of freedom had been crushed, but the memory of Boudicca endured. To the Romans, she was a reminder that conquest bred resistance, that even the mightiest empire could be humbled by the fury of a people defending their homeland. Boudicca's legacy transcended her time. Medieval chronicles resurrected her name. During the Renaissance, she became a symbol of righteous resistance. In the Victorian era, she was recast as a national heroine, her bronze statue still standing today beside Westminster Bridge in London, her chariot racing forward, hair flowing, daughters at her side, eyes fixed on eternity. She endures in poetry, in history, in the spirit of those who see defiance against tyranny as noble and just. The story of Boudicca is not merely about one woman or one rebellion. It is about the clash of empire and freedom, about the cost of resistance, and about the enduring power of memory. 2,000 years later, her cry for liberty still echoes across the pages of history. This episode was crafted with immense care to bring you closer to the fire and fury of the past. If you value high-quality historical storytelling, Your support helps keep these voices from history alive.